All right. Welcome this morning. It's Saturday. Hopefully, you all are awake. If not, we'll try to jumpstart your day, so to speak. And looks like the camera's all working. Looks like the microphone's plugged in. Hopefully, the volume is okay. And I haven't done a live stream yet with this newer phone, or with the new phone. And so I don't know how the microphone's going to react, as we had some issues with microphones on some videos. So please give a thumbs up if you can hear and it sounds all right. And if it needs to be changed out or anything like that, we'll obviously have to do something about that. Hopefully, it's not too low. And I do not have anything to monitor it with at the moment. Let me see if I can dig something out here. Probably should have done this prior. But anyways, uh, it's early in the morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. You don't always think about this type of stuff. All right, let's see here. This is right. So we will. Kitty, what are you doing? You don't need to be doing that this early in the morning. You don't need to be getting on my uh, bad side. All right. Let's make sure. Fine for you on the tablet. Okay, that's good. And Endo, appreciate that. All right, let's go over here. I'm going to just test it real quick. And wow, yeah, that's plenty loud. All right. Take those out. Don't want to wear those all day. All right, so we are here for a Saturday morning, and it is decent here in the Midwest this morning. It is something in the range of about 50 degrees. That is Fahrenheit, in case you're in Europe. Sorry, do not know what the Celsius is for about 50 degrees. A little bit on the brisk side, but not bad. I think it's supposed to be, there's supposed to be about a high for the day of around 60, 65, somewhere in that range. So it's going to be a nice fall day. And then after this live stream, where I'm going to do some stuff around the house, nothing too exciting, just typical Saturday cleanup type stuff. And then possibly, since it's kind of a nice day, maybe start working on getting Christmas lights hung up outside. I don't know. Normally, I wait till it's one of those frigid day, cold days, the end of November, early December, and I always regret it. So, thinking about getting that done early, and then later this evening, gonna go out with some family and uh, spend some time celebrating birthday from earlier in the week. So, anyways, there you go. Now you got a rundown of what my day's itinerary is. Hopefully, you have a good day and all planned. And when we get a few more people into the chat, we only have 3 people currently. We will get started on giving some first impressions of the Fiio FT5 and the Jade Audio JT1. So, um, invite your friends, family, whoever, to join the chat, and we'll get the show started. So, I haven't done a morning stream. I don't believe I've done late nights, done some weird days, done some afternoons, but I don't think I've ever done a morning, 10 o'clock in the morning. So it's kind of odd. Anyways, um, nobody's brain's working. Mine isn't, and hopefully yours is. I know Carmine's been up for a while. He watched when the Matrix mini video dropped at 6:30 in the morning. He messaged it was like early. Yeah, that one got out a little earlier. All right, so since this is a Saturday morning coffee, I am drinking some coffee. This is a what is it? Reanimator Roasters. That's the name of it, Reanimator. And then their roast is the Foundation Blend. It's actually pretty good. It's got a kind of a dark chocolatey blueberries and walnut flavor. It's a little bit on the nutty side, not too bad. Um, and you can definitely get that blueberry type of hint going on. So I like it. I probably will have to get this one again. Again, that was Reanimator, and the name of the roast is Foundation. All right, so I see a bunch of people in and out in the chat. They're probably like, "Is he talking about the FT5 yet? Is he talking about the FT5 yet?" So maybe we should get this going. And if you miss it by chance, you can always watch the replay after it posts later on. So without further ado, reach behind here and let's see what one is first. So this is the Fiio X Jade Audio JT1. Now, Fiio was kind enough to send these over to me, and I do greatly appreciate that. And so the Jade Audio JT1 comes in this little box, and it is a over-ear open back headphone, and I believe it has a 50 millimeter dynamic, and of course we've got a high res sticker, so it's gotta sound good. All right, so the also it says up here, born for music. Or when you open it up, I've already opened these by the way, but anyways, we'll show you. It's a very, very simple unboxing and nothing too special here on Jade. Now these are $70, I believe. So you get a cable, which is actually not a bad cable for the price tag. It's fabric. It is a little bit stiff, but that probably over time and usage, it'll probably soften up a little bit. And then it's got a nice big metal split. Continues with the fabric, and you have an inline microphone, which is something you don't always see, especially in open back headphones, which is nice. And it terminates into the headphones with 3.5, and they are marked kind of hard to see on camera here, red and blue, left and right and left. It's about 3.5, maybe 4 foot long. I haven't measured it yet. And then you have a nice big split. You have one of those weird rubber wraps. And then it terminates to a 3.5, and they give you a 1/4 inch adapter. So it's not bad, especially for like portable use or simple office usage at a desk or something like that. Very good size. And then you get a little carrying bag, which I don't really understand the reason why they would send it. It's this weird feeling. It's like really scruffy sweatshirt material. I don't know what to call that. All right, let's see what else is in the box here. Set that to the side. I actually didn't even, I don't think, took everything out of the box when I opened it. Paperwork. All right, so chuck all that in. All right, set that up there. So the headphones themselves. Metal headband or spring steel, aluminum, something like that. Cups are plastic. You definitely can hear the plastic on them. It's fake leather. It's not real leather. Suspension strap. No wiggle. They do not rotate at all. Cups do move up and down. Whoops, sorry for the brush against the microphone there. Very subtly it says Jade Audio. Pads are fairly decent size. Nice and plush. They're kind of like a cheaper version of the FT3 leather pad. They kind of make that squishy air sound. In fact, I can feel the air coming out of the bass ports up here. All right, so on the bottom here, you have your inputs for your 3.5. And there's a picture of the grill, or a close-up of the grill. Can't really see the driver. They're fairly comfortable. They're extremely light. I'd be surprised if these things are like 200 grams. Yes, Endo, I said $70. So they're extremely light. They just disappear, almost like a Super Lux 681 Evo. They're like just gone when they go on your head. clamp force could be a little bit better. They're a little bit loose. The suspension strap does an okay job, but I wouldn't want to like really fling my head around much. I'm afraid that they would fall off. The sound of them. So I did listen to them briefly. Um, they have a kind of a V-shape-ish type of sound signature. A little bit on the bassy side and a little bit more upper mids, treble present. Mids are a little bit on the recess side. They're not the most detailed and resolving, but we are talking a $70 headphone here, and you're not going to miss anything, but also at the same time, you're not going to have this out of the world, type of experience when it comes to details and resolution. Tone and timbre is all right. It does have a little bit of plasticiness in the uppers at times, and then somewhat the soundstage sounded a little bit cavish, but I let it run for a while and gave it some time, and some of those issues kind of dwindled a little bit. So I'm hoping that maybe with a little bit more break-in time and burn-in time, maybe some of that'll wear off. Also, I found that they're extremely sensitive and really they change with different sources. So maybe it was just the source I was using as everything gets tested on the MyTech stack. So maybe that's not a good pairing for it, but we'll give it some time. Overall, for $70, I'm impressed. They're not the worst things I've ever heard, and they're extremely comfortable. And they're open back. Not a whole lot of open backs at that $70 price point. All right, let's put everything back in the box here. Sorry if that's really loud. All right. Next, we'll get on to the FT5. All right. Boom. Okay, so Fiio FT5. I'm really close to the camera here. The way, the way the live stream sets up and everything, I had to sit a lot closer. So my wiggle room is not what I would want it to be normally, but comes in a lot bigger box. Definitely way heavier. It's nice. It says Fiio FT5 born for music. And they stashed the high-res stickers. Gotta sound good. The high-res stickers on the back. They don't flash it on the front. Interesting. So this is a 90 millimeter planar. Taking the lid off. And you are greeted by the typical Fiio case, which is tan fake leather. You do get a velour carrying bag this time. And then you also get an extra set of pads. Now, this pair was actually installed on them when they came, and I swapped them out. But this is the, like, velourish suede. Yeah, suede, not velour. Pad. They are slightly angled. They are bigger than what the FT3 had. They do seem like, and they seem like they're a little bit better built also. So the carrying case is nice. You get this nice strap. I like that. And it's definitely hard shell. It's going to protect things. Or when you open it up, they do a nice presentation. You get your accessories up top. You get your cable in the middle and your headphones. So the accessories that you get, we'll start with this. It just Velcros off and on. And they give you a 4.4 to XLR. They give you a 1/4 inch. And then because the cable, you can swap out your termination, you also get a mini XLR to, or I don't know if that's XLR. Yeah, it is. Mini XLR to 3.5. It comes pre-installed with the 4.4. Put all these back. Slap that in there. All right, and then the cable. The cable is similar to the FT3 cable, but shorter. It's not 10 foot long this time, which is nice. And it doesn't seem to be as thick, and it seems to be better controlled. It's very similar to the cable that comes along with the JT1, but just nicer. No inline microphone this time. You do get L and R lettering instead of just coating of the termination tips, and then a little metal split, that same odd rubber wrap, and then you have your 4.4 termination, and then just to disconnect you just unscrew. Whoops, that's really hard to do on camera. You just twist it till it comes undone and then pull it out and then attach, and boom, there you go. There's a little groove on the inside that you have to be careful to make sure it's all lined up, or else you'll damage the connector. Overall, not a bad cable. And it does go into the headphones with 3.5. All right, so here are the FT5, and they are made of magnesium aluminum alloy. All metal all the way around. They're fairly heavy. They're probably somewhere, I think it was 470 grams, something like that. Not the lightest headphone, but not terrible. You do get a little bit of rotation in the cups, and they do not go all the way around, which is nice. You cannot lay them flat that way or that way. You have your steel, spring steel, aluminum, alloy, whatever that material is for your headband. Suspension strap is nicer. It's still not true leather, I do not believe. And it has some padding underneath, which is nice. I don't know if you can see that on camera here. And then the pads are big. Now, I did put the leather pad, leatherish pad on. And extremely easy to swap out. They just pull off. And there's these little notches. And little notches on the back of the pad. And then you just have to make sure that your letters are on the right side and facing the right direction. And then just pop it back on. There is a and yeah, so on the front, when you're putting your pads on, there's a little line that should line up with the bolt, and you'll know that you have them on proper. On the back side is your cable termination. Extremely comfortable. Actually, even though they're heavy, you know, because they're planar, when they're on their head, it just disappears. It's got a very nice distribution of weight, and then the clamp force is good. I did find that it was a little snug at first. Probably will kind of expand a little bit. You might have to play with it slightly in order to get comfortable, but I did not have an issue until about an hour and a half, 2 hours in. The pad started getting a little warm. So you might have to take a little bit of a break if you use these for long periods of time. Let's plug the cable in, that way you can see how that looks. Alright, so we have left and right. So they just hang down, which is, I like this setup actually. Like, it's like the LCD5. The cable sits back here and then it just flows more in line instead of pointing out and coming down. It just feels more natural and true, and out of the way, cumbersome, not as cumbersome this way. Cable's probably 4.5, 5 foot long, I would guess. All right, so how does the Fiio FT5 sound? So when I first put them on and started listening, and I was, you know, again, it was on the MyTech Liberty stack, and I was rather impressed. I was surprised at how much details it was bringing out, and how close to linear, almost a very neutral type of sound signature. I was rather impressed. It was slightly forward in the upper mids and lower treble region though, and there was at times a little bit of brightness and a little bit of hotness. And as I started to listen, and I noticed that it was very revealing of bad tracks. I started listening to various types of tracks, and the better the quality of the recording, the better the FT5 sounded. And over time, that kind of a little bit of elevation and intensity dwindled just a little bit. So it does seem like these do get affected a little bit by burn in and break in. And so I'm going to give them some more time. Hopefully that kind of settles in a little bit more. I did listen to them again last night, late last night, and it did not seem to be affected as much by that. So it does seem like giving them roughly 8 to 12 hours of time to kind of settle in will be well worth it. The tonality is good, especially for a planar. I was rather surprised at how close to accurate they are. There's not any metallicism or any plasticky sound signature with them. They reach down good into the bass. I find that the dynamics are pretty good on it, and that they have good engagement. Space is good. Imaging seems to be pretty close to being precise, especially for the price point. And I like them. I think that they're going to be a interesting um, competition for something like the HiFiMan Sundara, even possibly going into Ananda type of competition for some things. Now, the Ananda will be better in others more than likely, but I think that for a first planar from Fiio, they've done an exceptional job. I'm rather impressed by it. So I'm curious to see how it'll compare. Of course, this review will be coming out in a few weeks. Got to give it some more time. Got other things to review too. So, anywho, those are my first impressions of the FT5 and the JT1. And get all this stuff put away. And then we'll get to the questions and looking at the comments and seeing what all you think about it. All right, set that. That's dangerous. All right. Let's see here. All right, so we have sounds good on a tablet. Good morning with some coffee. Thank you very much, Carmine. It's 4 in the afternoon for Endo, or 20 after 4. Thank you, Lori. You don't look a day older, but you are catching up to me. Happy birthday. Yes. Yes, I am. Thank you very much for the birthday wish. Um, let's see. Reanimator coffee sent back from the future to please mankind. Yeah, totally. I did say $70 for the JT1, 450 for the FT5. Let's see. Making breakfast for the wife while listening to you. These look like a gamer setup for the money, and Christmas is around the corner. Yeah, the JT1 would probably be good for a gamer, especially if you took like a mod mic or something like that and attached it. It would be a very, very simple setup for a game. I will definitely test them that way. I do hope on the JT1 that that little bit cavish sound will disappear. It's not as bad as something like a Monoprice Retro had or some of those other cheaper headphones, but it does have that tendency. Um, it's more in line with something like a Superlux 681 or 681 Evo when it comes to it. It's not as noticeable, but it is there at times. So I'll keep on testing those, and probably gamers and just somebody who's kind of a more casual listener will probably be into the JT1. I'm also going to test it on the. Let's see if we can see it here. Oh, can't speak directly behind me on the Fiio K11 because I think that's kind of the intention for Fiio is to partner up their budget DAC amp with their budget gear. So definitely would try it on that. Let's see. Okay, so expected the 5 to be more expensive than the 3, like their combo units. Yeah. A couple things. FT3 is a dynamic, FT5 is a planar, so you're usually going to have some sort of price increase just because of the technology. But then on top of that, it is better built than the FT3, and it's definitely a step up when it comes to the sound signature. You can definitely tell that they're going for flagship on FT5. All right, let's see here. Um, yes, Endo, that was the other headphone. Um, do you think the JT1 is worth $70, or is there better options? Ricardo, I would say wait for the review. I have a couple of questions I need to work out on it. It, does it just need to be burned in, and will the details and resolution, be adequate, and will that kind of odd soundstage cave-like sound signature kind of can that be fixed? Was that just a source pairing issue, or things like that? I'm not quite ready to say go get it right now. The FT5, I might be a little bit more willing to say if you are interested in a 500-ish dollar planar, it might be worth your time. But the JT1, I'm still a little working out the bugs, so to speak. Um, let's see, Carmine. The FT5 looks very interesting, and they suffer from the curse of showing how bad a lot of your favorite tracks are put together. My LCDX is brutal on bad recordings to being unlistenable. So, yeah, definitely. I am finding that some of the manufacturers, newer manufacturers that are coming out with planars and with dynamics, and kind of giving first attempts or giving updates to some of their lower models, they're kind of going for that more neutral analytical sound, whereas before a lot of headphones tended to be a little bit more musical, a little bit more pleasant listening, maybe in that just enjoyment factor. And this is, I like this trend that we're kind of going into. It's they're kind of walking the line between being analytical and musical, and that's the way I kind of like to listen to music anyway. So it's kind of cool that they're kind of doing that as of late. Let's see here. Lori, who determines what gets the high res sticker? So the high res sticker is part of the I can't remember the actual name of it. It's like High Res Society of Japan, or the musical, something like along those lines. And it's for anything that can go up to 40 kilohertz, I believe it is 40 kilohertz or higher. And you have to submit your work to them, and then they have to run it through some testing, and then they slap the certification on it. Um, I I can understand the I think there's more to it than that, but I think that's kind of the general gist. I can understand the reasonings for it, and I think that it's nice to have an accolade. It's kind of like car manufacturers that get the warranty information, certifications and things like that. So, I mean, it's cool to have. Does it make a true difference? Maybe on some stuff. Um, but often, a lot of times, when I first started in this on YouTube, and I started getting gear, and it started having the high res sticker on everything, I kind of did the listen to it and go, I thought if it was high res, it was supposed to sound really good, and I started kind of just making a joke about it's got the high res sticker, so it's got to sound good, and oftentimes it was no better than something that didn't have it. Why? Because our ears can technically only hear up to 20K. And depending on how old you are, whether or not you turned 48 like I did this week, or if you're young, your ears may not even be able to hear up to that. So, um, does it really matter for 40K? Yeah, in some ways, it adds into the overall presentation, but not really. So, that's kind of the reason why I started that joke, and it's kind of stuck over 5 years. It's hard to believe I've been doing this channel for 5 years. All right, good question. Would you say that the FT5 is worth the extra over the Sundara? In presentation wise, after I gave it a good about 12 hours of listening so far, or not actual complete listening, but playing time, um, I would say I enjoy it more than the Sundara for some things. More on that in the review that's going to be coming. It definitely is going to get compared to the Sundara. I think that's its biggest competition. I do think that just based off of some of the listening that I've had with it, it has more detail retrieval and resolution is a little bit better. The soundstage is better on the FT5. It's a little bit wider, a little bit better space. Does seem to have a little bit better depth. Imaging is pretty close between the two. I think that's one of the strong points of the Sundara. Um, Bass dynamics may be slightly better on Sundara. I'll have to do some of that, but I do think that the FT5 maybe goes a little bit better in sub bass. But again, this is first impressions, so keep in mind first impressions can change. So it's someone explained, first impressions are kind of like the honeymoon period, and that definitely is so. So it can kind of the excitement can kind of wear off, and the overall wow factor can kind of wear off. So, um, I do like the FT5 quite a bit. So I feel confident enough to say it's probably going to get a pretty positive review. I don't see anything that's going to be like, oh, this thing's awful and it's not going to change, anything like that. So, or wow, I didn't see that coming. This thing's a disaster after listening to it for a while. So, um, take that as you want. I'm going to be cautiously careful to say it's a good one to get, but I'm not exactly sure at this moment to say definitively it's better than the Sundar or better than this or that. But I do think it's an upgrade for me personally. All right, let's see here. I suspect you take more care in your mixes for your church recordings. In the end, we're the consumer who are stuck with the quality of the lack thereof of the musical mix and mastering. Got to run. Yeah, church. We do try to be aware of how it's going to sound going out and plus what it sounds like in house. We do focus mostly on in house because we don't do a whole lot with what's going out other than just a live stream of the service at the time of the service and then we're done. We don't do anything extra. So we're more caring about how it sounds in house. The um, there's a lot of factors that go into it, especially when you're doing live. How good are your speakers? How good are your microphones? How good is your board? How good is the engineer EQing and setting gain levels and things like that. So there's a lot of things that go on with that. But we do try to make it so that the people that are currently sitting in the seats aren't getting frustrated by either not being able to hear it or just being too loud, too harsh, that thing. And then to make sure that the live stream going out is quality enough that the people at home want to at least sit and watch it. They're not getting annoyed by how terrible it sounds. Let's see. Roland says, "How do you feel about the Empyrean at $2,000 on closeout? Do you still feel the same way about it you did in your review? Thanks for these things, by the way. I enjoy it and a lot out of it. It is interesting since the MP2 is coming out and you have the Elite. MP2 is coming out, I believe, 3 grand, and the Elite is 3,500, if I remember, somewhere in that range. Um, Marking down the Empyrean to 2 grand is actually a pretty good deal. Yes, I do stand by that review. I do think it's a very good headphone, and is it starting to show its age a little bit when it comes to detail retrieval and resolution? Sure, but it still does a really good job with tone, timbre, and it does a really good job with like dynamics and soundstage and things like that. So yes, I do stand by my review. Would I take it over an Elite? Yes, as I said in my review, I do think it is better than the Elite in tone, timbre, and just having that overall engagement factor. The Elite kind of missed out on that. So at two grand, I think that's a good deal for an Empyrean. brand new. If you can get it used for cheaper than that, you would get a steal. So, yeah, 10 grand's not, or 10 grand, 2 grand is not bad for an Empyrean. Malik Mahesh, belated birthday, thank you. Is there any real advantage of owning a DAP anymore? Every time I see a DAP review, I go, I can buy a couple of IEMs instead for different sound signatures. Um, so DAPs are interesting because if you're only using IEMs and you're going portable and you don't want to use your phone as your source, or you don't like having dongles, there you go. There's a good option to use a DAP. If you like using only local files and you don't stream and you can't put local files on your phone because you don't have SD card capabilities, which a lot of phones are removing, things like that, or you just don't have the capacity of memory to be able to download all your songs to it, a DAP would come in handy. If you don't want to get pestered by phone calls and emails and all that kind of stuff, you could use a digital player for that to kind of take yourself away from your phone. You can also use DAPs, connecting them as a DAC. Are they as good as a desktop DAC? That's debatable, and it depends on which ones you're using. Some of the higher end DAPs are do make very good line out DACs, but where you get your downfall in DAPs is they just don't have the amperage. They just don't have the ability to really drive full size headphones and demanding gear. Some of them have more power than others, but they don't compete truly with a desktop amplifier or a desktop DAC. So it depends on your use case. And I have several DAPs. Do I use them all the time? No. I mostly use them if I'm traveling and if I'm taking longer trips. So if I'm going to be riding in the backseat, I'm not driving, and it's going to be a 4, 5, 10 hour drive somewhere, I will take a DAP along. If I'm going to be staying in a hotel room or if I'm going to stay in a cabin or something like that or at a friend's house overnight, I'll take a DAP along. If I'm taking somewhere where I don't want to waste my cell phone data by streaming, I'll take a DAP along. Um, those are kind of the use cases for me. I don't sit at my desk with a DAP. I don't go around the house with a DAP most of the time, unless I'm testing a product to do a review, and then it's a quick listen here or there. Um, I'll just use my phone and connect it with a dongle. So hopefully that answers your question. It just depends on your use case. It's all right. Let's see here. Used to IFI GoPods or other true wireless setups. I actually own a pair of GoPods. They're right here, and they're okay. I don't care for Bluetooth much. I'm old school. I do not mind a cable on my IEMs, and the GoPods actually aren't very comfortable. They're very thick on the back. Now, this may be different for people that don't wear glasses, but for me, I just found that they sat and they kind of push my ears forward a little bit. And then you have the buttons that you have to fiddle around with, and I just didn't really care for the GoPods connection. Now, they're well built. They probably are one of the better setups that way as far as sound, but I'm not a Bluetooth guy. Just give me a simple wire. I'm good to go. Um, You could also, go with a BTR 7, a BTR 5K, 3K, whatever those are. I think they have the BTR 13 now. You could definitely do that, or you could get the Radzone ES100s. There's all kinds of them, QLEX, and all kinds of others. I really wasn't a big fan of any of those either, but it is an option. To me, just give me a dongle, connect it to my phone, or give me a DAP, and I'll connect the wires, and I will be happy. I think it sounds better. And all right, let's see. Both are very small, pocketable, lightweight. Yeah. Again, that's cool. I mean, I if you don't mind that, go for it. It's just not for me, which is hilarious because I have some Bluetooth headphones, the heavies, and the V Modas and several others. And the only time I ever use them is if I'm traveling, and I don't sit at home using Bluetooth, and I sit here at my desk listening on my desktop setup, so I don't have Bluetooth needs, and everybody else is different. And so the other thing, this is kind of, I don't have an issue using Adapt and disconnecting because I never get phone calls. So, anyways. All right, let's see, Nathan. How would you say the FT5 compares to a 660 S2? They're probably the two headphones I'm looking for around price range. That's something I haven't thought of. I'd have to get back with you on that and do a comparison. I haven't done that, and it's dynamic versus planar. Price points are similar, but I haven't really considered that, so you'd have to get back with me on that one. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts while you're conjuring up some thing for me to answer? I'll take a swig of my coffee. It's probably cold. Lukewarm. Nice and quiet crowd today. Okay, so while you're all thinking about questions, the coming up for review this next week, we have the Heidi's S9 Pro Plus. There we go. So the Heidi's S9 Pro Plus. It's a dongle and blue. I think it does come in a couple different colors, but this will be the review. This gets released the 15th, and it's gonna go on pre-order, and then I think you get, I can't remember the price tag exactly. I think you get like $20 off if you pre-order it, and then when it goes, I think it's like a week later, it goes full price. But it's gonna be under $100 dongle, and so we'll do a full review of that. That's gonna come out on Tuesday, and then these two devices right here, just down below the tube amp. Those are the Aune S9C Pro, which is on the bottom here. And then the top one is the S17 Pro. Those are going to get reviewed. I'm going to split those out into two reviews. That way you can get a feel for both. The S9C Pro is a DAC amp, and then the S17 Pro is a amplifier only. So um, those will be the reviews for next week coming up. We may throw something else in there. I'm not sure. We'll see how busy I am. And then after that, I have no idea. But we do have some exciting stuff planned coming in. All right. So back to questions. Let's see here. Mahesh, I get the feeling you're not an EQ person. You're right. I do use the EQ, especially when I'm mixing for church. But for personal listening, I really don't use EQ at all. I will use it when I'm doing some reviews. Like if something really stands out, it's like, wow, there's a lot going on in the upper mids. Where's that peak coming from? Or wow, there's a lot in the treble, things like that. And I'll try to kind of EQ it and see if I can fix it, tweak it, things like that. I don't really mention it in the reviews, but I do use EQ for a little bit, just kind of as a tool and as a kind of a guide to go, wow, there's something going on here. Um, let's see. Do you EQ at all or hear the IEM headphone as is? Are we missing out? No, I don't think you're missing out. I do. I'm a purist for the most part. I would 90% pure. I guess because in drinking, drinking coffee, I do add just a little bit of cream, maybe a shot of some caramel or vanilla or something like that if I'm feeling for it. But so I'm not a complete purist. Same thing with sound. I do use EQ just slightly, as I said, but I'm not tweaking it immediately or anything like that. and I will use tone controls a little bit, but I do think that EQ, when used properly, can help to hone things in properly and to bring in a particular sound, especially when you're doing live music. I think EQ's that way, is good in that way, because you can. But when listening to music and playback, EQ's a band-aid. And the reason why I say that is it changes with every source that you're using. It alters with every single headphone that you're using, IEM that you're using, and you have to constantly be tweaking and changing it based on the gear that you're using. Um, so yeah, I'm not a big EQ fan. I would rather just listen to it as is and grade the product as is. That's the reason why I use stock tips for the most part, stock cables. And if I do make any changes or alterations, I always mention it. But my reviews are always based on purely stock. All right, so let's see what else we got. Improvement level over previous headphone model for the FT5. Well, being planar versus dynamics a little bit different. I'm not sure I would call it a fair competition. Is it an improvement? You can definitely tell the FT5 is going for flagship status, whereas the FT3 wasn't going for flagship status. So yeah, in that regard, I guess it would be an upgrade. Jerk, yeah, you got here late. All right, so just for the ones that got here a little bit late, I don't know how many are still lingering from seeing before, but we'll just do a quick look-see at the FT5. So I do like the look of this over the FT3. I think the FT3 was a little bit more retro looking. This one's a little bit more modernized. Feels well built. That magnesium aluminum alloy metal. Rotates. Suspension strap. It's going to fit quite a few heads. And it's rather comfy. Hour and a half, 2 hours, it'll start getting hot a little bit, depending on which pad you're using. And over time, it has lessened the clamp force. So, there you go. There's the FT5. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Let's see. It says, hold on. Chat disconnected. Are you all able to still hear me, see me, or am I talking to myself? All right, let's see. Well, all right, good. We are back online. All right. All right, cool. So sometimes when you're live streaming, um, internet can do some weird things, and you'll get some messages that pop up, and so uh, makes you wonder whether or not you're just sitting in a. At least me, I don't know if other streamers have this, but it'll be like, am I just sitting in my room talking to myself to on camera, or people actually able to hear and listen and stuff? So, but anyways, yeah, the weird things that go through my brain. So we do have. I haven't opened this. We can open this up. So Shandling sent over their new. I believe it's a single dynamic. To let me see. What does it say? It's a ceramic diaphragm dynamic driver. Don't get too many ceramics. Don't know the price. I did not look this up. The Shandling MG100. So we get to open this. I have not even touched this. So here we go. Take the sleeve off. Kitty, what are you doing down there? You're making all kinds of noise. All right, so black box. Come here. Come here. Here, let's see if we can get a cat on screen here. Come here. Come. Come here. Oh, you're okay, Mr. Grumpy. All right, so this is Opie. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You want to say hi to everybody? Right. Yeah. I see a Milo over there too, but he probably won't come. So anyways, this is Opie. He is our Maine Coon. He's rather large. Weighs about 18 pounds. And he's a little grumpy this morning. So anyways, let's see. Black boxes are good. Yes, that's absolutely right. All right, so you get a black box. Really hard to see Shandling branding on it. Wow, this thing's in there. They do not want that to pop. Oh, this is cool. All right, so then you get the IEM up here. They kind of, it looks like they're going to be kind of like the Sono type of build, but the carrying case looks really cool. All right, let's take that, set that to the side. All right, so underneath all that, you get a bunch of tips. So you get, let's see, the red ones are vocal, the black ones are balanced, and then the clear ones are bass. And then you get a pair of, so bass, whoop, bass, balanced, and vocal, and then you get foams. Interesting. All right. And IEMs themselves. Oh, yeah, these aren't bad. So then you get the IEM. They would sit, I guess, more like that in your ear. They're pretty small. They got a rather long nozzle, actually. I don't like the fact that they are smooth on the backside. I prefer a little bit of ergonomics on my backside of the tips. Stay in my ear a little bit better. And it looks like we have removable nozzle filters as well. So it opens up and then we have that. All right. Try not to lose those. Must be stashed inside this carrying case here. Hang on. All right. Let's get this tip back on so we don't lose those. Okay, put those in the box. All right, this carrying case. Look how cool this is. Get a little bit of branding, and then you just lift that up. You got a bunch more stuff stashed in here. Okay, so it's going to have a alternate termination for your cable, which is nice. And then there's the extra set of filters. I'm not sure which one does which, if that's going to add bass or if that's going to more balance it out, and I'll have to do some research on that. I do like this carrying case, something a little different. You know, you get, I like it when manufacturers change things up and you just get a different look to something, so it's not all boring and the same old, same old. So when you look at your collection of IEMs and you have them stashed in your carrying cases, you go, oh, that's the Shandling MG100. Why? Because it's got the little red ribbon thing that, anyways. All right, so cable. Looks like it's going to be a pretty nice uniform. Oh, no, that's not. Okay, so ear hooks go all the way down there, so they're fairly long. A little bit on the stiff side, not bad. 4.4 pre-installed. And it's just a twist and pull here. looks like. Maybe. That's weird. Okay, so unscrewed, and all that happened was the end cap came off. All right, we'll fiddle with that off camera. All right, so let's see how comfortable they are. Won't do a sound test since my phone is my camera. Unless one of my DAPs is charged. We'll try it. All right. Okay, so we got MMCX. Yay! Everybody loves MMCX. Depths. Where is it? Back here. Okay, let's see if the R5, it has juice. All right. Pop this in the ears here. Very comfortable. They just disappear. I'm surprised with that flat back that they just went right in, no issues whatsoever. Okay, well, the R5 Gen 2 starts up here. We will talk a little bit about it. Extremely comfortable, very, very small. As you can see, they just disappear. And they block out outside noises pretty good. We're probably 60% of outside noises being blocked, maybe a little bit more than that. Definitely felt like I was yelling when I had them on. The fan is on low, so if I'll have to do some tests. I run some things around the house: coffee grinder, vacuum cleaner, TV loud, a couple fans around, things like that to test to see how well it blocks it out around the house. And then obviously I go walking in the neighborhood and stuff and have some vehicles drive by, see what it sounds like. But first attempts here at it in the ears, it seems like it's blocking out probably upwards about 60% of outside noises. Okay, R5 is turned on. Now, I've never talked about the R5 Gen 2. I guess I'll do a quick review of it. It is a little bit of a chunk, not too bad. It has a nice screen on it. I'm rather impressed by that. The UI can be a little bit iffy. Sometimes it'll just kind of stutter and slow down at times, but using the HiFi app usually does not crash. They do firmware pretty regularly, so if you are using it on a regular basis, you'll get an update probably every couple of months. At least so far I have. Sound wise, it's very nice. It does both. Has a Class A amp and also the regular old whatever amplifier, and I can't remember all the tech. And so you can add in a little bit of flavor, but for the most part, it's fairly neutral with a tint of warmth to it. Very good details and resolution, and it has a nice crisp top end without being fatiguing. All right, let's try this song here, Charlotte Church, A Bit of Earth. See if it'll play here. There you go. Overall, it's very clean. Does sound a little bit recessed in the mids and the lower mids. Upper mids seem to be a little bit elevated. Let's see what else is on here. Above Ground by Nora Jones. Nice guitar strums, good tone and timbre. Percussion comes across clean. She got to start singing here. Yeah, there's a little bit of a dip in the lower mids. They do sound a little bit thinner in the lower mids than they do in the uppers. Okay, let's see if we can get something that isn't jazzy here. Okay, A Certain Smile by Johnny Mathis. Ooh. Okay, this is one of those tracks that's not very good, very well recorded. And so you can get some harshness to them. They definitely elevate that a little bit. Okay, Johnny's voice is a little bit thin. The piano's nice and crisp. All right, let's go. Let's see. Let's get out of the A's. All right, Meatloaf, Bad Out of Hell. Let's see how this is. Okay, changing gain setting does seem to help a little bit. Um, don't know what the sensitivity is on these. They do sound a little bit thin. Okay, these do not work with Meatloaf. I will say that right now. All right, let's try another song. All right, Pink Floyd, Eclipse. This is better. So we'll say this: these definitely do not like older music or not well recorded music. It sounds really bad. Okay, so Pink Floyd Eclipse sounds way better. All right, let's see what else we got here. Um, okay, Eva Cassidy, God Bless the Child, last song. This is better. So they have this. Now it could be the source because I am using R5. Maybe it just doesn't play well on it. But they have this like weird presentation in the staging, in which it makes everything kind of sound echoey, and then it's a thinner note weight, especially in the lower mids. It sounds a little bit recessed. Now it could be just the matching of the sources throwing that off, with the impedance or something. Um, and then the upper mids and treble region are like a little bit elevated, and so they're a little intense. So definitely give these some time. Little cautious on them, but we'll see because it could be the R5 is just not a good pairing for it. All right, let's see what else we got here. Anything? I like the build of them though; they're extremely comfortable. I do not like the MMCX connection though. Okay, so let's set all of this to the side. This MMCX connection actually just came disconnected as I was wrapping them up. So kind of a loose MMCX. All right. Do I have anything? I do have one other item that I can show off real quick. I'm not sure. This is kind of an interesting situation because I believe HiFiMan is sending me some gear. I'm not sure if they're sending me this one, but Intuit did send this to me. So we will end up reviewing it either way, either the one from HiFiMan or the one that Intuit sent me, but we'll find out. I don't know what HiFiMan sent me, as I said. And that is the Arya Organic. So for you all, your headphone lovers here. So you do get a typical junky HiFiMan cable. And then you get a little HiFiMan stand that looks like an anchor. And it does have a little bit of like hard plastic on the bottom to kind of hold it in place, but it is a headphone stand, which is kind of cool. This box is annoying. Here, okay. So when you put it on the headphone stand, here you go. That's how it'll look. Set that here. So this is the Arya Organic. Nice and big. I can't remember the size of the driver. 100 millimeter, 110 millimeter, something like that. Egg oval shape. And has the wood veneer finish on it, which is cool. Feels basically like an original Arya, Arya Stealth, all those. They haven't really changed the comfort too much on them. I have no issue with that. They just plop on your head, you get the big halo effect, and they're extremely comfortable. Disappear. And sound-wise, I've only listened to these for a brief moment. They came in yesterday. These have been played probably close to 100 hours by Intuit. So they are burned in. He said that they do need a lot of time for burn in. I can't confirm that yet, so I'm kind of hoping that HiFiMan sends me a brand new one. That way I can confirm that. But the way that they sound, that he sent them to me, is very neutral. With a natural kiss of warmth to them, and they have a analytical, borderline going sterile at times. So they are, in my opinion, the most neutral with a kiss of natural warmth, but most analytical of the Arya line that I've heard. They can be a bit on the, what's the word, brash side in their presentation of details, and they're extremely good resolving. I'm really impressed at how it defines things and really shows it off. Very, very, very detailed. Reaches nicely into the sub bass. It's very linear across. And overall, an impressive headphone. I rather like them. We will see. This review will come out in a couple weeks, and then we will hopefully be able to compare it to a new pair and confirm some of the questions that have been abounding about the Arya Organic, about whether or not they need a long time to break in, or if they are good to go straight out of the box, and if they sound similar or not. set those back into their little snug box and make sure they don't fall anywhere. So I don't feel like buying into a new pair of Arya Organics. All right, so um, cute cat. Thank you. Yeah, Opie is very cute. Let's see. Awaiting your Heidi's S9 Pro Plus review, or the Martha as it's known. Yes. Can you give a summary? Worth it. Good sound signature, driving power. Hope the sound isn't thin, but full. So the S9 Pro Plus is similar to the S9 Pro. It does have a little bit more note weight and body, and it is a slight improvement detail retrieval and resolution wise. Overall, it's a good dongle. It does have a couple features like filters and things like that that we'll get into. But overall, it's not bad. I can't remember all the power requirements or abilities, but it has pretty decent power. I do believe, if I remember correctly, that they went to a 4.4 instead of 2.5. So Heidi's has upgraded to that, which is a nice feature, as 2.5 is not near as popular as it used to be. Okay, so just so you know, as viewers, I am testing out the a option from YouTube that they will run advertisements for monetization, and they'll do it automatically. I am not putting those in; they're adding them. So if you don't have a pop-up blocker or anything like that, or you don't have YouTube Premium, you may get an ad. I just saw a notification on it, so. If it's too much of a nuisance and you don't like that feature, let me know in the comments, and I will turn it off. But I just figured for this live stream, I was going to try it out. So um, just trying some new things for the channel. And speaking of, if you are interested in supporting the channel, there's all kinds of ways that you can do that. The easiest way, and it won't cost either of us, is just watch the videos and share them, and it'll get into the algorithm, get played more and more and more, and recommended more and more, and the monetization will kick in. So Kitty needs coffee, yes, definitely. So the other ways that you can support channel through PayPal, Venmo, and also buy me a coffee. You can do one-time gifts. Buy me a coffee is just another link, kind of like Patreon and YouTube memberships, in which you can either do a one-time cup of coffee, or you can do monthly subscriptions. And then using YouTube memberships and Patreon, you can also get access to my private Discord server if you're interested in that. All right, so let's see. How's the Arya 2? I haven't heard the Arya 2. Haven't been offered one. If there are, this is another way that you can help the channel. If there's something that you want me to review, or you are curious about my review, and you know that a certain vendor or manufacturer has them, hit them up on Twitter, or X, excuse me, Threads, Instagram, their YouTube channels, things like that, and say, hey, you know what? You should send one of those over to the Honest Audiophile, and just see if they would. A lot of stuff I can't get in for review. Either it's expensive, I don't have the funds, I've spent the funds on other things, something like that. So I can't always get them quickly for you, and so a little bit more of a help. You asking somebody to send it to me would help. If you have one and you live in the United States and you're willing to part with it for a few weeks or so, and lend it to me, that'd be also awesome. I will cover shipping, going back to you, and if anything happens while it's in my possession, I'll replace it, that sort of stuff. So if you have gear that you want me to review and I haven't reviewed it, or can't get it in or anything like that, feel free to offer it, share it, that type of stuff. I don't want to beg and plead, and I know that times are hard financially in the world, so I understand if you're not able to. So there's other ways that you can do things for for free, basically, either just watching a video or sharing it and that type of stuff. What time is it here? Quarter after 11. All right, we got about 15 more minutes, 20 minutes or so, or a little bit longer to go. If any more questions come through, I don't want to keep you all too long, as it is Saturday and we got a bunch of stuff to do around the house. Couple are just quick pointers about algorithms. Thumbs ups help. Of course, I understand you don't if you don't like what's the content and you have to give a thumbs down. I understand that. Sharing also helps to kind of get things out into the algorithm. And one thing that I notice is and I understand the thinking is the notification bells. I see a lot of times people going in and watching a video several weeks later, and then they'll make a comment, oh, I didn't know you reviewed this, or I didn't see this come through. If you click the notification bell, you can actually, there's several different options of how you want to receive a notification, and it'll either just put it into your subscription links, and then you can go, okay, oh, Honest Audiophile did this, and you click on the video, or it'll give you the notifications on your screen, things like that. So there's various ways that you get notifications, but that does help the algorithm, and will help you to be able to find videos sooner. Just a thought. So, and then I've given my thoughts many times on affiliate links and things like that. Doesn't cost you anything other than what you're purchasing, and it just gives a little bit back to the channel. And I don't push affiliate links because it's your choice to purchase, and also I'm not using that money to form an opinion. I'm not allowing the people I have affiliate links with to tell me how to review something. And if they don't like the review, so be it. I I'm very honest and open about it, and that's the reason why I don't push affiliate links. In fact, in order to get to an affiliate link, you have to go all the way down in the description. They're the last thing in the description, and all the purchase links are not affiliate links. So, all right. So Carmine says short commercials are okay. Guy to pay for the game. Yeah, exactly. So we will, I'm not trying to beg for money or anything. I'm just trying to give you some pointers as to how you can help the channel to kind of grow and help it to further on. Because, as I said, not everything gets sent to me. And in fact, I've had several vendors and manufacturers who were sending stuff who have kind of not been communicating as much as of late. So, who knows the reasons? But we can get gearing eventually. We got some new stuff coming in anyway. So I'm happy for everything that's provided, and I'm glad for all of you here on the live stream today. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, opinions? Talk about a different topic if you want. I'm open for it. We got time. If not, we will end the live stream and get on with our Saturdays. Give you a couple minutes to conjure up a question. Oh, by the way, if you notice in the chat, people have different colors for their names and things like that. Some of them are members, and then others are like moderators and things like that. So if you join the channel as a YouTube member and stuff like that, you can use different emojis and all kinds of cool little things. So there's some different added things. Nothing's too spectacular, but. And I do try to answer your questions first, if you're a member or a supporter of some sort. Just a little added bonus there. So, anyways, do appreciate everybody swinging by today, and looks like we're going to wrap up this live stream. And I do appreciate everybody swinging by, taking a look at the FT5 and the JT1. and the Shandling MG100 and the HiFiMan Organic. Thank you very much for letting me kind of ramble. All right, here we go. Is there any ending to this hobby? Yeah, actually there is. You can call it quits whenever you want, whenever you get content. I mean, things are going to continue. So like, think of it as automobiles. So when the automobile first started, they keep improving and they kept getting better and better and expanding and changing. You went from trucks and you went to cars and you went to sports cars and you went to hypercars and you went, all this kind of stuff. Audio is the same way. You're going to have, you have the basics that are the crux of what sound is and how it gets reproduced. But then at the same time, it's going to constantly get upgraded, and they're going to grow, and they're going to try new things, and so you're going to always have options out there. It's up to you as the purchaser, and the viewer to make the decision of when you're content and when you have what you desire. And I think everybody can get to that point. You just have to have a basic knowledge and understanding of what you're seeking as a listener, and then you have to have the willpower of your bank account. And you be like, okay, this is it. This is how much I wanted to spend, and this is the sound signature that I was looking at in this price point, and be content with it. Okay. So the Shanleen, let's see, cute cat. Where was it? Okay, so the Shanling MG100 comes in at $160, basically $159, on sale for 141. It's on sale for Veterans Day. Okay. Well, speaking of, thank you very much for any of the veterans that are out there. Thank you for your services, much appreciated. And this country wouldn't be what it is without your service and to the country. So thank you very much for being a veteran and or being a active member of the military. Especially in these days, it is not easy, and there's a lot going on. So thank you for all. Okay, thank you for that, Lori. All right, let's see. That's a good question, Musa. But yeah, I do believe that there's an end to the hobby. It just comes up to you. What are you looking for? And are you content? All right, Mahesh. In all this intense reviewing, I read your review process. Do you also get time to just chill and listen to music on your own, or you have found a way to combine the reviewing process with listening? I do separate it. It can be a challenge, especially depending on what all is in for a review. Sometimes when my review list gets upwards 20, 30 items in at the same time, it gets very stressful, and extremely hard to really focus on just spending personal time. But I do take personal time. I try to give myself at least an hour a day of just personal listening and relaxing. Sometimes I will take a full day and just be like, okay, I'm done reviewing for a little bit. I just need to chill. And at times I will even turn off YouTube and I won't respond to comments and things like that, just to kind of just clear my head and get away. Um, so yeah, it's hard to balance it, and I cannot, maybe other reviewers can, but for me, I cannot be in reviewer mode and be in personal listener mode at the same time. Now I enjoy being reviewer, and I enjoy um, hearing different things, and processing what it's doing and dissecting it and all that, but that's not true enjoyment for me. For me, it's sitting back, putting my LCD 5s on and listening to some jazz music. That's the way I relax. um, or listening to some classical. I prefer listening to like movie soundtracks by like James Horner. I love his music. James Newton Howard and guys like that, and Jerry Goldsmith, and just sitting and relaxing and listening to that. Um, but for me, I cannot do reviewing and personal at the same time. But it can get very stressful, extremely stressful. If you're on my Discord, um, you'll know when those moments are. I do interact quite with telling and keeping people informed of what's going on. And there's there's moments when I'm just like ready to pull my hair out because everything's just going on. As a reviewer, sometimes you'll go through a week where you'll get 10 packages all at once, and you're just like, oh, okay, guess we gotta get cracking. Well, hopefully that answers your question. Okay, let's see. Carmine, different topic. If you were to win the lotto, the DCS Lena headphone stack. Okay, I don't know what the DCS Lena is. I have to look that up. But if I run the lotto, what would I purchase? I don't know. I'd probably go with a new DAC and amp setup of some sort. Probably just because of the name. Go with Cord Dave or something along those lines. Maybe a DCS Bar Talk or something along. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to really think about that. Which route I would go. I'd probably upgrade speakers and somehow convince my wife that I can have them in the living room, or that we need them in the living room there. Uh, and then headphone wise, I would definitely get one of those really high end electrostats, something like a Bravura or one of those, the TNAs or something. And then a headphone wise, I probably would upgrade. But for me, I'm one of those people that's very logical budget minded, so I would probably have to have something low end budget too at some point. So um, probably everything that you see back here, most of it would probably stick around in some way at the same time. That's just me. All right. Anyways, um, Carmine, is there an end? At a point, you can only play the same reference music track to the point where it's not sounding any better to you. At that point, you've peaked or you're broke. Well, that's true. Very true. And I think that's kind of, it's good to have reference music and a certain reference standard, and I stand by that, and I use the same tracks when I review. But there also is a side of me that I like to explore other artists and other music, and so I do add that into my personal collection. And then sometimes when I'm listening through those tracks and things like that, it will those will end up being a reference track. So adding to your library is definitely key. Not overloaded to the point where you'll never listen to everything in your library. I think that's but you definitely do want to listen through your library and learn different tracks and things like that. When your music becomes content, though, when you hear it and this is the way it's supposed to sound reproduced, and this is the way I want it reproduced, and I love it, and you're just content listening to your whole library on that gear, you've met the end. Um, until you go visit a friend's house and they're like, "Hey, did you hear my new system?" And you're, "Oh, yeah, that does happen." All right, let's see. Lori says, "In my opinion, you don't have to break the bank to get great sound." Oh, I totally 100% agree. I mean, it's fun to talk about. What would I do if I had $100,000? What kind of system would I get if I had won $1 million lotto? Things like that. But at the same time, you can take some of the simplest of gear and it sounds fantastic. And there are some really good value IEMs, value headphones out there. You just have to search for them. There's gems in every single price point. And a lot of times, now this is just my personal experience, the more expensive stuff is just an experience. It's not necessarily the best, greatest thing ever. It's a different type of experience, and you get this more of a it's not entitlement, but it's more of a this is what I have and I enjoy, and it's top dog in my system, that type of thing. Um, you don't have to be elitist when you own expensive stuff, because there's elitists that own cheap stuff too. uh, so yeah, there's value in everything. Basically, is what my point. And it's how you appreciate and how content you are. Hopefully that made sense. Oh, sometimes on live streams it feels like I'm just rambling and not making sense, which probably is true. But um, good questions. This is the way my brain thinks in the mornings. It's kind of like a jumbled mess of things that have been going through it all night long, and so I have to like talk it out. And then once you kind of talk it out and start, formulating sentences and phrases and stuff, it starts to come together later in the evening. It's amazing I get any work done. Any other questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, recommendations? So I was thinking that I would create a recommendation list. Now today's 11/11, so if you are um, in the market for some good deals, there's some stuff going on. Opos has a big sale going on. Hi-Fi Go has one. Linsel has one. I think Keep Hi-Fi has one going on as well. Um, I'm not sure if of any others, but those are the main ones that I got notifications for. So check those out. I haven't really looked at their deals, but I know that. But I was thinking of going forward before Christmas, probably maybe before Black Friday. I don't know when I can get this up. I'm going to put a list together of things that I recommend that it new or old. Um, and just be like, hey, if you can find these are things that I love and recommend. Here's some new stuff, here's some old stuff, and just throw it out there. And then you all can put your wish list together for your significant others to purchase for you for Christmas. So I'll be putting that together. I don't know if I'll do a video or if I'll just do a post on my website or something like that. Also, I do have one question. So for all of you that are watching right now, and if you watch this later and you come across this question, how much do you go to my website and actually like read the content? Does it matter to you that there's things being posted over there? And if so, would you be interested in having other writers, other posters on that website doing reviews as well? Just thought. Say yay or nay, not interested, don't care, don't do reads, whatever. And done and comment, and then I'll kind of be able to base that because I am looking to see if I want to expand that side of my channel or just keep it as is. All right. So, anyways, going just past 11:30 here. So, I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any last questions, comments, drop them in. You got 2 minutes. All right, let's see. I only get to your website if you notify me there is something there. Okay, that's fair. So normally when I do post something, I will do a community post. So that's good to know. At least running over there and skimming it, reading it. Most videos do have links to the website, but probably more than likely a lot of you, if you watch my videos frequently, have already read that whatever pops up. So I can understand that you wouldn't go to those links every single time. Normally it has something to do with like terms and definitions, benchmark gear, that type of stuff. All right, so um, I do want to thank everybody for coming by today and viewing FT5 JT1 and Arya Organic and also the um, Shandling MG100. All right. Unicorns abound, and yes, if you like it and it's not costly, absolutely. I mean, one of my favorite IEMs of all time, Tin Hi-Fi T2. It's $50. You can often get it a lot cheaper than that. So yeah, I mean, there's value in everything, and that sounds good. Doesn't have to be super expensive or even mid-level to do sound fantastic. And it doesn't have to be cheap to sound bad. There's a lot of expensive stuff that sounds bad. All right. So this is going to close up the live stream today. Thank you for everybody joining. I do greatly appreciate it, and thank you for letting me ramble and chew your ear off early this morning. And thank you very much for the questions and comments and all that kind of stuff and your interest in the products. Thank you very much. You all have a fantastic Saturday and a Veterans Day. If you come across a veteran or you know a veteran, thank them for their service and tell them how much you appreciate all that they do and the sacrifices that they make. Thank you very much. You all have a good day, and we will do this again shortly. Bye. If I can remember how to exit. There we go. All right, goodbye.